About a month ago, as I took a quick trip to see a parent, I turned on my phone and started recording in the car. I was motivated by some intense frustration caused by a particular lie spreading around the internet about the COVID vaccines and dead mice. I did have a brief moment where I considered live streaming, but I really hate being on camera and I'm a perfectionist, so any mistake would seriously haunt me for all of time. I also thought, why bother? It won't make any difference. Well, I thought about doing something with my frustrated rambling. I didn't. That is until I saw a particularly egregious use of data on a page for Christian families. Before I post the video I made about that information, I thought I should go back to my ramblings, recreate the introduction, and post it so anyone coming across this information has some context. So, people who know our family well know that we are vaccine hesitant. They also know the reasons why. I mean, we're certainly not anti vaccine, but due to some family genetics, past history, we're a little more cautious about vaccines and how we time them. We also believe in using natural means, such as diet and lifestyle changes, whenever possible. I share all that to say I understand vaccine hesitancy from a certain perspective. And for those of you who generalize all the people who are concerned about vaccines, please stop it. It's part of the problem. Generalizing only leads to isolation, and that isolation is a breeding ground for wild and untrue conspiracy theories. Now, the neurology behind all of that is for another time, maybe for another video, if I can find the time to make it. Recently, I spoke with a friend who wanted some reassurance about getting the COVID vaccine. I told her not to feel bad about being nervous. What is new is often scary. So, if you feel uncertain, you're completely normal. I also shared the biggest reason I feel comfortable with the vaccines. It is because every single piece of information I saw on social media telling me that mRNA vaccines are dangerous was false. I'm not talking maybe they were a little untrue. I think maybe they were false. I'm talking it took me maybe 10 minutes tops to refute each and every one of them with facts and data. Seriously, not just some of them, all of them. Now, I'm not arrogant enough to definitively claim that there will never be an issue that crops up, but this process made me feel more comfortable with the mRNA vaccines. Why? Because people are grasping at straws to come up with a narrative that paints them as dangerous. If the source is desperate to find something, anything, they can't come up with anything legitimate, then there is likely nothing out there to find. So if identifying lies about the vaccine helped me, then maybe it will help you. There are a few other things about me and why I think rooting out false information is important that might give you some context. First, I'm a Christian. I would even venture to say I am an evangelical, at least in the way I think that word should be defined. Embracing falsehood is the sign of an immature church who is acting in opposition to the teachings of the Bible. I am passionate about the spiritual well being of the church in America for many reasons, not the least of which is that because a large percentage of the population claims to be Christian, the health of our country is tied to the health of the church. So, if I love my neighbor and all. So, I'll talk about how the church responds, but I hope most of the information will be helpful to anyone. Second, I think even outside of this public health crisis, it is important to root out false information. You will probably hear me talk about rejecting sources that peddle in lies that fit an agenda, whatever that agenda may be, or who it is meant to benefit. Once a source has proven itself untrustworthy, we need to turn away from that source, no matter if we identify with them ideologically or not. We must not be controlled by ideology, for it makes us vulnerable to accepting disinformation and giving allegiance to people whose motivations are evil. Third, while I am in favor of vaccine choice, those choices shouldn't be made based on lies. How that all plays out and what that means for restrictions on people who won't get a vaccine during a pandemic isn't simple. It's complex. Stop loving simple. For example, I'm perfectly happy that colleges require them for in person learning this year. It seems to be a wise and database decision. So there you have it. Just a little info to let you know what I am about and why I am making these videos. I hope you find the information helpful.